DAFW artist. How are you today? It is a Motivational Wednesday. I am in the beautiful fishing community of Gloucester, Massachusetts. Was a hard word for me to say, but there's a specific reason why I'm here. And I'm actually gonna let you know that right away. This is where the film Coda was filmed, the award-winning film. The Troy Koster, the actor who played the father in the film, has been sweeping the award season. He's been nominated for several Best Supporting Actor honors and has won the majority of them. He's won a SAG Award, he won a BAFTA, he just won an Independent Spirit Award, he's nominated for Oscar, but there's a very specific reason why we're here for a Motivational Wednesday. So after we move and groove, I'm gonna let you know what that is and have a few special things to share today for our Motivational Wednesday. But before we do that, let's do a little moving and grooving, okay? And this song from The Clash is on the Coda soundtrack, and Coda stands for Children of Deaf Adults. All right? Stop! Oh, good. Ooh, take a couple deep breaths. Good. All right, guys, like I said, I'm in Gloucester, Massachusetts. This is the setting of the background for the award-winning film that is sweeping the world right now, Coda. Coda stands for Children of Deaf Adults, and it's historic because when it won the SAG Award for Best Ensemble, it was the first time a film featuring a cast of deaf actors won the SAG Award. Troy Koster was the first deaf actor to win the SAG Award. I know I talked about him a little bit last week too for Motivational Wednesday because of the speeches. So we're gonna continue that a bit. At the beginning of the year, I talked about wanting to share interviews with you. And now that we're getting more into rehearsals on a Monday class for the radio show, I'm going to do that more on Motivational Wednesday to teach you about filmmaking, learn a little bit about filmmaking, our craft, what it's like to be on set. I want you guys to be as much, learn about that as much as I can possibly give you. So what we're going to share to you, what I'm going to share with you is this really nice something I found called The Making of Coda. So you watch that we followed by an interview with the director, Sean Hayter. And so those are the two clips I'm going to share with you. And I think they're important because all the actors talk about their process, how they develop the characters, and I really want you to really take it in, really listen, and really take in what the actors are saying. I hope you find this really educational and motivational. So let's go to the two clips and then we'll come back.
When I first read the script, I immediately thought whichever actress is lucky enough to play Ruby is an incredibly lucky actress. You know, it's not every day that you get to learn 3 skills for a project. So I guess, I loved the story. I fell in love with the Rossi family, and I loved that they were so relatable and dysfunctional. I guess I loved that the script made me feel a lot. It made me laugh, it made me cry. And I just loved the character of Ruby. And I guess the thought of learning ASL and having singing lessons and I guess learning how to fish kind of excited me. It was loads of different skills that I had never even thought about learning but wanted to learn. So I was very, very excited when I found out that I got the part.
3 and
all I need to get by, like the sweet morning dew. I took one look at you, and it was.
you did not work on this.
We did. Just not, like, together.
Well, you know, when I first saw the script, I really was impressed that it was a deaf family, you know, strong deaf characters, and a coda, child of deaf adults, that was so cool. You know, we were the Rossi family on screen. They live in a small fishing town, and, you know, it's one of those towns where everyone knows each other, so I thought that was a cool element to the film as well, what they would go through as a deaf family in a small town. And I mean, I thought that was really neat. And my character, Leo, who is the brother, I could see a lot of myself in him. When I looked at his lines and in the script, his character, I could very easily imagine myself playing Leo on screen. I could easily see what that would be like. I knew it right away. So yeah, that's what I thought.
When I first read the script, I really was amazed. It screamed, it said, Marley, this is yours. It belongs to you. I had to play the role of Jackie Rossi. I got so excited, which meant, and I knew that this is the script that I needed to do. So I told my team to get on board and pursue it to the entire way. I met with Sean Hayter. We had a lovely conversation. We talked about our vision, her vision for the film, and I was so grateful to be in it, really.
Why is it always about you? I'm meeting people. I'm making friends. You know what? You should get out in the world too.
Yeah.
At first, when I read it over, I saw that there's dirty sign language. Oh man, boy was I thrilled, because I knew people needed to see that. They needed to get that experience. And then using signing and authentic casting. It's not often that we get that opportunity. Hollywood historically is fearful of working with deaf talent, and getting authentic deaf actors who just happen to be deaf or other disabled people. And now with Coda, here we are. It's authentic, and we bring that to the screen. I was thrilled at that. And then the story, I've heard so many friends who were Coda themselves and have very similar experiences and resonate with the story, especially in the doctor scene, where they bring in the daughter to interpret or to help with the fishing business. It was, I think, really wonderful, having a different experience, seeing our culture. And I just wanted to go for it.
There we go. How's that, Sean? Just a little bit water.
She is a very deep and layered character. I think all Codas have mixed emotions in a way. They've kind of they've shouldered a lot of responsibility at an early age, and although they absolutely love signing, they've been interpreting all their life, it's what they know, it's what they're really good at, but at the same time, sometimes you kind of not resent, but you want to kind of do normal teenage things. I think Ruby wanted to go swimming with Miles. She didn't want to have to go on the boat before school, and I think it's a coming of age story, and I think teenagers always reach that point where they kind of want to separate from their family and kind of create an identity apart from them. But I think Ruby realizes that maybe actually that's not what she wants, and then she starts to kind of hold herself back, and it's only when Leo tells her on the beach that she realizes that actually she's holding herself back and it wasn't her family at all. And Coda is basically a love letter to family. It's about this relatable, dysfunctional family who love each other more than anything in the world.
Oh, here we go. She won the Yankee Miss Pageant.
Leo is the older brother, the oldest child in the Rossi family, deaf family. So deaf of deaf. He's very strong. He doesn't want pity or sympathy. Stands up on his own 2 feet. He's a hard worker. He knows what's best for the fishing business, for the family. He's got lots of ideas. But unfortunately, before the sister, Ruby, is born, Leo has a great relationship with the parents, but then when the sister is born and she can hear, it changes the dynamic. Later on, the parents depend on Ruby, the sister, more and ignore Leo, and he feels like he's vanishing in the family. He's like, hey, I'm here, I've got ideas, I've been working all this time, I'm showing up to do the work. And he notices that Ruby is different, right? She doesn't really want to stay, she doesn't want to stay stuck with the family, she doesn't really want to be in the fishing business. And he tells her, you can go and be happy. Later on, Leo finds out that she's also a good singer, that she really enjoys music and singing. So, that's proof right there. She needs to go, she needs to let go of the family, pursue your dreams. The deaf family will be fine without her, and that's what Leo's all about.
Jackie is, she's a woman who is very, very protective of her family. She is both confident and humorous on the outside, and she cares about how she comes across. Again, as I said, she's protective, she's hardworking, and she's a free spirit, basically. She really cares for her husband, as if somehow they were still in high school. And it was interesting to watch Jackie's journey from not really being clued into what was happening in her life until then she started to learn, and she eventually grew and transformed.
As I read the script and had conversations with Sean, the director, she told me what Frank was supposed to be like. He dropped out of high school, he never finished, he had to take over the family fishing business. He worked with his father, and his father had health issues, and so Frank took over the business for many years. And that was his character. And I had to do my homework, figure out what to do on the boat. And Sean gave me different pictures and videos of the fishing community in Gloucester. And these guys just cutting these fish. It was a bloody mess. And I thought, boy, I guess I'll have to do that. Okay. And then when I got there the first day, we were rehearsing on the boat for 2 straight weeks. We had to get up at 2, 3 in the morning, get out there before the sun even came up, because that's the best time to catch fish. They're awake and they're active. And we brought them in and we dropped them on the boat. And that was our experience for a couple of weeks. And if I wanted to be frank, I wanted the audience to love him. I didn't want there to be a disconnect and think he's some crazy jerk. It was a balancing act. Sometimes fathers can be frustrating, but the humor, it's nice to have a range. And Frank had that for his character.
Okay, the first, I guess the most challenging scene was Both Sides Now, the audition scene at the end of Coda. Singing and signing was the hardest to do together. I guess, when you're doing, a film, you get, say, 7 takes for your coverage. In the edit, you have 7 takes to choose from. Whereas when I was singing and signing Both Sides Now, if I did 7 takes, but my sign language was only perfect in 1, that's the only take they can use. So I guess going into it, I kind of knew that I had to tonally be in the right place acting-wise. My singing had to be as perfect as possible because it was recorded live on set. And my sign language had to be perfect because otherwise they can't use any takes or just 1. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking. It was kind of like multitasking under pressure. And then the second most challenging scene was in the town hall when Ruby is interpreting for her dad and her brother and the fishing officials. Because I kind of went into that scene having to learn my lines in dialogue and sign language. I had to learn Troy's lines in dialogue and sign language. I had to learn Daniel's lines in dialogue and sign language, and I had to learn the fishing officials' lines in sign language in order to interpret. So I kind of, and my own, I forgot my own, and I had to learn my lines in sign and dialogue. So I kind of went into that scene having to know everybody's lines in sign language and in dialogue. So that was hard, but as I said before, I love a challenge, and it was a very fun scene to film.
I would have to say when we were on the boat, the fishing boat, it's I don't know, maybe like 15 people on this boat. There's cameramen, there's interpreters, there's actors, there's makeup artists. Everybody's in this boat and we're kind of like dancing around. Where can we stand? Where do we go? I think that was pretty challenging, honestly. But in terms of the rest of it, I felt like we rolled right along. And just to clarify, as a deaf actor, do we have extra challenges? No, I wouldn't say so. For sure, everyone has challenges, right? But just in different ways. I don't have an extra challenge because I'm deaf. I have a challenge because I'm an actor, or, just like anyone else would.
I think one of the most challenging scenes for me was when Jackie made the comment, "You want to sing? If we were blind, would you want to be a painter?" And I think that's probably selfish on Jackie's part to make a comment all about herself, about what her daughter wants to do. But I can't really blame her. She didn't know. She didn't realize how dependent she was on working. She didn't realize that her daughter had to have her own identity. She had to have her own goals, her own hopes, her own dreams, her own desires. And maybe communication, maybe they didn't communicate that enough, but for Jackie, it became a learning curve. And then she learned on so many different levels. It was a hard scene for me to film that. I had a discussion with Sean, my director. I struggled with that because I cringed at having to say those lines. You know, thinking about that, every time we did a take, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I had to say this again. But you can't blame Jackie. She wasn't really clued in. She just wasn't familiar or aware of her daughter's needs. And listen, she came out of it though.
The challenge is the first time seeing all these other hearing people clapping and having these emotional responses around me. And I felt a little left out. And that feeling shows my experience. You know, that the fact that we're not fully a part of that community yet. And I was glad to have that opportunity. And the other challenge was fishing. I wasn't used to getting up in the early hours. I was grumpy. I needed my coffee. I needed my espresso, you know, to get there on the boat. And then the other challenge was they had these microphones that were attached under these hidden wires. And I thought, what do you need that for? I'm deaf. I'm not going to be using my voice. What do I need a mic for? And they said, well, when you're signing, it interacts with your clothes, and we're listening to that. And I thought, okay. And then when we were done work, I was ready to leave, and I forgot to detach the microphone. And this guy's chasing after me, Troy, we need your mic. Oh, okay, here you go. Sorry, I forgot. And then the next day we were ready to go, and they came right up to me with this microphone. Okay, felt like a snake that was trying to attack me. But that was a challenge with that mic. I thought, why bother? But then I understood it has to do with the sound and everything. So.
Sean, Coda was such an amazing movie, and I'm sure you've heard this so many times over. How does it feel just seeing it go through this whole awards process, and you're seeing your cast being celebrated and just hearing all these wonderful things? How does it feel as it's coming to a culmination?
I mean, it's amazing. We started this journey at Sundance. We didn't have a distributor. I was just praying that the movie would get bought at Sundance, and to watch kind of the ball start rolling and keep picking up steam and finding audience, you know, and people telling their friends to watch Coda and watching it grow. It's been one of the most incredible experiences of my life. And also for this cast, I mean, the first time I saw Troy Kotzer on stage at Deaf West, I was like, that guy is a movie star. Like, he needs to be a giant movie star. And now he is. Like, I'm watching him in this room full of people, and it's just incredible.
He has been amazing in the movie and, like you said, in other roles, and he seems like he's a favorite in this. Like, are you excited just to see, I mean, I'm sure you're already getting a lot of rewards, but are you excited to see like who might win and like just seeing him if he takes the stage?
I mean, honestly, it feels like when I was at the SAG Awards and watched my cast win, it was like up there with the birth of my children. Like, it was a really incredible moment, because to be in a room full of their peers and be honored like this, I mean, I think deaf people, deaf actors have been marginalized for so long, and the idea that not only, you know, is this an opportunity to be like, look, we're here, we're talented, we are your peers, but also to be applauded and celebrated by the people who are veterans in this business and are looking at them as like, you know, this is the future, and it's amazing.
Is there anything that you've heard from viewers or audiences who are like being exposed to this new world from the first time that has like moved you throughout all of this?
Yeah, I mean, one of the really moving things has been a lot of children of immigrants really relate to the movie. I've had people come up to me in tears, whether it's a Korean man at a screening recently who said, this is my story that I'm watching on screen. So the Coda experience is not isolated to the deaf community. I think this is a cross-cultural experience that anyone who's in the middle of two cultures and having to navigate both understands.
That's awesome. And then last question, so you're up. Have you thought about like what you would say if you win?
Oh my God. Well, I have to thank my husband, and I'm so afraid I'm going to forget to do that with all of the nerves. I mean, I have 2 little kids, and he was home with them the whole time I was making the movie. So I think they're like the people that you're like, I can't forget this person. Like, but I don't know. What's cool is that when you're on the award circuit, like, you get to know people. Like, you start to really invest in them, and I'm hanging out with these directors and I'm hanging out with these writers, and so then it genuinely feels like you're in a room full of really friendly, supportive people. So it decreases the nerves when you're new to the situation. I'm a first-time nominee, so I would, be kind of overwhelmed probably, but then I got to have a lunch with Steven Spielberg today at my table, and I'm like, okay, you're Steven Spielberg, and we're chatting, and it's fine. So like, I think, it's part of it is just realizing everybody's human, and everybody is here because of the work and because they're artists, and they make stuff, and we're all the same.
Love that. Thank you so much, and good luck.
Thank you.
Come back. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed listening to, how specifically detailed the guys very choice that talked about going out on the fishing boat and getting up at 3 in the morning and really immersing themselves and learning the community, because the characters are different to, the life that Troy and Marley and Dan, who played the son, and Amelia, live. So they really had to do the research. Amelia had to learn sign language. So again, they were really playing characters who were living truthfully in those imaginary circumstances and doing the research and the work they needed to do to really understand their characters, so they could come from a really truthful place. And I've seen the film. It's on Apple Plus, so some of you have access to it or can see it. I highly recommend it. It's such a gorgeous, gorgeous film. So tomorrow is our character creation challenge. We will continue audition on Monday, but today, let's end it the way we begin it. One of the songs from the movie is "You're All I Need to Get By," which was originally recorded by Tammy Terrell and Marvin Gaye. I love me some Motown. So we're gonna end it the way we begin it with some "You're All I Need to Get By." Hope you enjoyed today's class. God, I love you and I miss you so much.